Hello everyone and welcome back to the low voltage age in New Horizons. It doesn't really feel like we're in low voltage though, right? Even though we have some low voltage machinery. And of course last episode we did craft our first circuits. Somewhere. But yeah, it still feels like we're basically in the Stone Age here. I mean, look at this place. Cobblestone mixed with terracotta, mixed with cherry wood, mixed with rubber wood. And just to top it all off, there's even ores in the floor here. And sure, there is the old excuse of, well, this is New Horizons, and yes, that is true. But we want to clean things up around here, at least to begin with. I did hear a skeleton out here. There he is. Can we take him? No, we can't. That was a bad idea. It's never a good idea to engage in combat this early on. But yeah, I think we start over here with the storage room. We need to give this place a bit of a makeover. Alright, well, at least for a first prototype, I think this combination is really not looking too bad. I think perhaps the floor here will change out with concrete to give us the extra run speed bonus. I do really like the idea of going for a blacked out base design. Still not exactly sure what we'll do with the ceiling though. Definitely not the stained clay, that's for sure. And of course we'll eventually remove these chests in favour of an inventory panel. And the furnaces will eventually replace with LV machinery. But you know, at least to get us through this tier, I really like the design and direction we're going in here. You know, it's at least better than this view right here. Yeah, I do really like these basalt pillars though. However, this is not the first iteration of this design, and I had some trouble getting to this point. Let's take a look back at how we got here. But yeah, I think we start over here with the storage room. We need to give this place a bit of a makeover. Nice, now that is what you call a makeover. No, we've had a slight change of plan here, as I hope you've already seen. Assuming my fancy ideas of time travel work this episode. But yeah, I've been trying out a bunch of block combinations and found that we couldn't really arrive at something that I was happy with. And that's just due to our limited access at this point in the game. And you know what? We are actually going to use the excuse this is GT New Horizons. That's right, this is GT New Horizons, and to get all of the fancy blocks I hope that you've seen by now, we are going to have to first unlock the LV assembling machine, which is all the way down here in the quest chapter, and with the assembling machine we can run this recipe here for Mist 11, mushroom plus zetone tiles, which is effectively just stone. There is a number of different things we need to do to start this process though, and the first of which is travel a couple hundred blocks to the east, where I spotted a sheep in distress. Hello sheep. He's not having a fun time. Yeah, these piston boots are amazing. The run speed bonus combined with the step assist combined with the jump height, very worthwhile investment. And just past the sheep we came to a slime island. The slime island of course contains blocks of slime and slime saplings. So yeah, the reason I went to gather the slime saplings here, oh that was fast. Also, these guys shouldn't be out here. There's a suspiciously low amount of animals here. I was wondering what happened. It must have been the Enderman picking up the grass here. I don't know why those blocks are missing. But yeah, we can farm these trees instead of farming rubber. We use the rubber to coat cable and also make things like resistors and circuit boards. And by switching over to the slime, it gives us a slightly more efficient way of generating raw rubber dust. And also gives us a refined glue byproduct once we get the LV centrifuge. Anyways, yeah, it's not only the rubber that we need here. We need to replenish some of our supplies from last episode. We might be down to our last stack and a half of copper, and 2 stacks of iron here. That's not good. Okay, surely with all of the preparations I've been doing here over like all night, I can feel myself getting a bit carried away. I think we're ready to progress through LV, one of the most fun parts of this game. And this should be very satisfying here. I have a bunch of materials prepared, including 16 electric motors. You may notice in this recipe there's a lot of wires. Yeah, before we get onto that though, I have a few more things here, including 4 conveyor modules. You're gonna hate this. No, actually, I really like this. Call me crazy. Call me crazy indeed. Yes, we also have our next LV machine, the bending machine. Oh, thank goodness, that is actually a quest. And I've made some small modifications down here in our machine room. So yeah, all of the wires that we used in the crafts for the bending machine and the electric motors came from the wire mill. And the bending machine is going to sit right here. So just because we're in LV doesn't mean that the steam machines are now obsolete. We can, in fact, we will still be making good use of these things. Currently making some wood pulp to compress into wood planks. So I thought that I would stop at this point because there is some efficiencies that we have to pay attention to. However, we are actually out of circuits though. But not to worry, I do have some more things prepared here, including 24 resistors. I think that was it though, right? I don't think I have anything else. I did go and gather some more materials though, mainly copper and iron, although it doesn't look like it here. Most of it is being turned into wires. And you know, it's probably a good idea to claim some of these quest rewards here. Okay, we got some LV bags. What do we get? Tin cable, I think we got that, and a bunch of blocks. And a farm hatch from forestry. I don't think these are actually very good anymore. Some things got changed in the recent versions. I don't know if those are actually worth using anymore. Anyways, let's continue on the path to the assembling machine. The next thing we need to make is robot arms. However, these do take a circuit each, 2 motors and a piston. And the piston also takes a motor. And plenty of steel to go along with that as well. We are also down to our last circuit. I think we can make 2 more here. Although we should take a note of how we can be more efficient with these recipes. And along with the wires, almost every recipe also uses plates. And that's exactly what our bending machine can take care of, so we will need another steam turbine to power it. So having access to all of these LV machines does unlock the cheaper recipes for us. We're going to connect the turbine straight on the machine. So to make plates from steel, we can drop it in the bending machine, and we want circuit 1. The circuit inside the machine here just basically corresponds to the recipe. If we do circuit 1, it gives us a regular plate, circuit 2 gives us a double plate, circuit 3 a triple plate. It's very logical in that regard, but there's other things like in the chemical reactor where it gives you a completely different fluid or gas. It's actually a really great system, but you have to be careful in some cases, some instances where you don't want to make the wrong thing. Ah yeah, and it seems that we've run into some throughput issues here. Yep, that's definitely going to happen. Yeah, this machine room will be in a state of constant change, more or less. I think we can replace these with regular bronze pipes and hook it up to the turbine. It was also nighttime there, so the solar boilers were probably not producing anything. And they've probably also calcified at this point. Yeah, it looks like they have, right? You see that? I hear a skeleton. There he is. Hey. Yeah, so the fix for the calcification is just to break and replace. And they should return to their full output of 360 litres per second. The steel plates are finished in the bending machine. We have our fine copper wire. Fine wire is also more efficient in the wire mill. Now then, the question is, do we go straight for the assembling machine or do we go for something else first? There's so many machines over here. The extruder, the fluid extractor, the chemical reactor, the electrolyzer, the macerator, the alloy smelter. There's so many things. The furnace, the mixer. I don't know, we want to get all of them eventually, right? But it's about priorities. I think since we already have so much of the material made up the inefficient way, I think we can just go straight to the assembling machine. So we have to start with some more circuits. We need vacuum tubes, 2 more steel ingots. We're kind of running low on steel. We should try to address that pretty soon. In fact, maybe even this episode. But one thing at a time. It's all about prioritizing. Although, to be fair, we can't really do much without steel, so we'll see. Okay, this should allow us to get some more circuits. How many can we get? 7 more? That brings us up to 9. We need to make our robot arms. I think we need 2 for the assembling machine. You're gonna hate this 4. Oh, nice. It gives us 2 free circuits, plus a loot bag. Garbage. And that should be everything, right? We already have our conveyor modules. There it is, the basic assembling machine. Avengers Assemble. We don't really have a way to power this. We will need another steam turbine, but this is going to sit right here. 1 more LV bag. An apiary. I do want to get into forestry bees. I've never played with them really in depth before, at least not for the past 5 to 7 years maybe. It's been a very long time. So yeah, we achieved the first goal here. We should be able to make the blocks that we want for this room. However, I think that we keep going. I think we can also pick up a few more machines here. And the first one is actually not even going to be an LV machine at all. We're going to actually upgrade some of these steam machines. Just with a little bit of raw iron, we can actually turn this into the high pressure alloy smelter. And if I remember correctly, this is actually double the speed. It does use more steam. Maybe this one isn't actually double the speed, but it's definitely faster. There is one of the high pressure versions that is double speed. And this will of course eat into the steam production taken away from the LV machines. And so another priority I have is actually to upgrade these bronze fluid pipes. Let's see, is this double the speed? 10 seconds for rubber? I think that's more than double actually. Yeah, that's really not too bad, but there is a more efficient way of making rubber. I actually wanted this in order to make raw iron. So wrought iron, you have to smelt iron nuggets, or do it in the smeltery, but I think smelting iron nuggets turn it into wrought iron nuggets. And then alloy smelt with the ingot mold, I think that's the fastest way. We do also have enough material for 2 more steam turbines. And you may be asking yourself why we're not using batteries here. And that's definitely a valid strategy, but we don't really have the materials to make batteries. Mainly lithium, which comes a bit later in the LV chapter. I'm also very surprised our preparations can take us this far, but I think we can also get a centrifuge. Yeah, look at that. The centrifuge I'm actually going to put on the end of the line here. And the centrifuge allows us to centrifuge slime balls into raw rubber dust, and it also gives us the glue that I talked about earlier. So this is the first instance where we have a fluid output on our machines. Fluids are a bit of an interesting subject matter early game. There's a lot of different ways you can deal with it, but I think the best way is empty cells. Also, I apologize if this is information overload. I feel like it might be at this point. I'm getting so carried away. I'm having so much fun with this. One of the other advantages to LV machines is you can actually enable automatic output. You can hit it with a wrench to set the output side and then click this little button in the GUI. And that should send all the rubber out into the chest. We can avoid having to use the hopper below, and in fact there is a way to pull items into the machine if we use the conveyor modules that we crafted. Although I don't think I want to waste these at this point. They're also used in crafting, as we've seen. So maybe at some point in the future we can replace the hoppers here. But yeah, circuit 12 with tin plates in the bending machine gives us the empty cells. And this can allow us to transport the glue straight out of the machine here. We can put the glue inside the assembling machine. This is the fluid input slot right here. Circuit number 5. Fine copper wire, and coal dust. Doesn't work. Why does it not work? Alright, it's circuit 3, and this can give us resistors. And it actually gives us 4 at a time rather than just 1 in the crafting table. And this trend of cheaper recipes in the machines continues all the way throughout the game, which is good because we like machines. We're going to have lots and lots of machines. Thousands of machines even. And to make thousands of machines, we're going to need thousands of resources. And that also means more time mining and less time developing the base, which does need a lot of work here. So the way that we currently process ores is just by throwing it directly in the furnace. But 1, this is pretty slow, and 2, we don't get any increased yield from doing this. Yeah, 1 copper per ore. Fortunately for us though, there is a fix at our current technology level. The Steam Grinder, a multi-block macerator. It basically acts like the macerator, except it's much faster, and I think it can run 8 recipes in parallel. So sure, it does use a bit more steam, but it's more efficient with the steam usage, and just faster overall to process our resources. However, maybe somewhat unfortunately, we do not have the resources to craft this thing. We are going to run away from that guy as far as we possibly can. Yeah, there's 3 main materials we need for this multi-block. You know, this could actually be the vein that we've already mined. Almost, there's a little bit left here. Anyways, for the grinder we need copper, gold, and bronze. And this is our current supply of those materials. Definitely not great after crafting all those machines. But yeah, the hope is that with the addition of this multi-block, we should be able to cut down on our total time spent mining. As much as I enjoy it, I do enjoy playing with machines a lot more. Actually, this vein is looking pretty depleted, but it's the gold specifically that I'm after here. I think we do have another gold vein. Yeah, not too far away from here. We have actually, there's 4 gold veins around here. Look at this. First one is here, which is already mined, and I know that I've not touched these 3 yet. Wait, hold on a second. What am I doing here? I remember this being much more expensive than this. Yeah, it's only a couple of Tumbaga plates. And the Tumbaga, however you pronounce it, is where the gold and the copper goes to. But actually the real cost is in the bronze, and we also need bricks for this. I mean, it's always nice to have extra gold. We're gonna need it once we hit HV. But really where we should be is in the copper mines, which I'm pretty sure we did deplete last episode. I think it was this one that we were in. And in fact, we can mark it as depleted. That does mean we have to find a second one though. And I don't really fancy going to the nether. Honestly, I don't really fancy dealing with the nether tonight. Yeah, let's for now make use of the very slow macerator to get the most out of our gold. And we'll use this ore finder one to hopefully come across a second copper vein here. Aha, not too far away from our base at all. We got this chalcopyrite vein. Yeah, I think with the copper, we should have everything else for this grinder, maybe with the exception of some bricks. Yeah, so once I estimated that we had enough copper, we had to actually unlock the quest for the grinder. And the prerequisite called for a fluid tank. So inside the alloy smelter, some obsidian dust and thickened glass gives obsidian glass. And then through the assembling machine with iron rings gives us the fluid tank. Only this is the wrong fluid tank. What we actually need to do is compress some clay, so I upgraded the compressor to the high pressure variant. Clay dust through the compressor gives us clay plating. And with clay plating, we can craft clay fluid pipes. And that allows us to craft the GT++ ultra low voltage fluid tank, which is the one we need for the quest. After that, we just had to craft some Tumbega and some extra bronze. So now I am hoping that we have all the materials for this thing. I haven't yet decided on a location though. It's either going to be in the center here, although we have many more LV machines to fill, so I'm thinking that's also going to go on this wall. Or potentially off to the side over here, probably on the side of the steam, since these do take steam to run. I have also been doing some work here in the storage room with some block combinations. I'm not totally sold on this whole thing yet, but we'll get onto this later on. First of all, the steam grinder. So where did I leave all those things? Yes, here they are. So the quest for this thing is in the GT++ tab, and I have actually planned on making 2 of these things. So we need 2 steam hatches, this is how we input steam. We need 2 input buses, this is how we input items. 2 output buses, this is for the output, obviously. And then we also need the controller here. For that we need some of the casing, which should be in this assembler. 42, I think we might be a few short here actually. We'll see. Yeah, and the bricks allow us to craft the controller, which is also our quest. So location, where do we want this? You know, one thing I've realized here is that this base is very small actually. And I really want to experiment with interesting shapes this time around, and interesting room designs, not just necessarily a rectangle, which is kind of what we're getting ourselves into here. So I'm thinking maybe we go with more of an open plan design, where we knock out all of these walls and we have the stairs almost floating. I don't know, it's just an idea at this point, but yeah, I think we're going to actually put the grinders over here. So I dug us out a bit more space to work with, and I have a feeling these things might end up getting moved, but what we're going to do is put the 2 output buses here, and then input bus. The controller block, I believe, goes front and center like this. And the rest, I think, is just a hollow 3x3. We'll put the 2 steam hatches on the backside, and then we just have to fill in the rest. And it should form the multi-block here. Yes, the steam hatch changed color, which is a good sign usually. And yes, we do have a completed multi-block, awesome. And yeah, as I suspected, we are short some bricks for the second one here. Now that I've placed these, I really don't like the fact that they're there. We're gonna roll with it though, we have to keep things moving here. But yeah, we also need to feed these with steam. And we have previously been using bronze pipes everywhere. I think that we want to switch away from bronze though, and I'm leaning towards potent fluid pipe. Yeah, this thing. The regular has a capacity of 6,000, so it can transfer 3,000 per second. The large one goes up to 12,000, so that's what, 6,000 liters per second? That's way more than we can produce. However, you'll notice here, to craft potent, we need bronze, which we have, tin, which we have, and lead, which we do not have. And yes, we're going down another rabbit hole. Oh boy, this game. I know, it feels like we just done this, right? Yes, we do have more bronze here. Let's actually use this bronze to get more of the bricks for the grinders. We just have to turn them into plating here. So yeah, the lead ore, which spawns in Galena veins and cryolite veins, and as you can see here, it does not spawn in the overworld, other than the cryolite vein, which spawns in the Twilight Forest. There is a big rabbit hole here. The Twilight Forest is going to allow us to unlock things like Thaumcraft. Where is this quest chapter for it though? So it seems that the quest is actually locked, and we're locked by something in one of the first chapters, which is to gather a silverwood tree. These things normally have aura nodes inside. I don't know if chopping one down destroys the aura node, but we do need a sapling here for the quest. Yeah, it's in the very first chapter, and so it begins. We need the What's That quest. We also need to gather a greatwood tree. Aha, there it is. Alright, let's go find this greatwood. I know that we have one nearby, since that's how we first died this series, and it was somewhere over this way. Oh yeah, I see it. And there is still going to be a spawner underneath this thing, so maybe we can just lumber axe it really quick. It seems this tree also has slow leaf decay, but there is no way I'm leaving a floating tree here. Aha, there's the spawner. Should be a chest underneath also. And this is GTNH, so it takes like a year to break this thing. Look at the progress bar. Okay, what do we have here? Some zinc. Actually, zinc is useful. And it looks like we got our sapling up here. And the quest, awesome. And so now we've unlocked the quest for the Twilight Forest, we need to craft some more LV circuits. I believe it's 4 in total, plus a diamond. I'm going off of memory here for this recipe. I think it's inside the assembly machine, which is still tied up doing these bronze plated bricks. Okay, it did take the input materials. And 30 seconds later, it gives us a quick and dirty portal generator. You know, this game is also getting quite old by now. A bit like myself. No, but I'm interested to know how many of you guys are not familiar with the Twilight Forest. Oh, there's a greatwood tree up here as well. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, the Twilight Forest is also in the newest versions of the game, I suppose. But yeah, where are we going to put this portal? Okay, for the portal, you just need a 2x2 of water. I believe it all has to be source blocks, and you just have to surround this with flowers. Instead of the vanilla diamond, we toss in the quick and dirty portal generator. And bam, we have a portal to the Twilight. This isn't quite as deadly as the Nether, but still we could get quite unlucky here, we'll see. Come on game, you can do it. You can do it, game. Nope. Ah yeah, there we go. And actually not a terrible spawn. Oh yeah, and we can get the gardens here as well. It's actually a really good place to look for gardens if you guys are still looking for the healing axe at this point in the game. I am going to make sure we make the portal on this side safer. And let's make sure we pick up the mining backpacks. And now we are looking for lead. We're not going to worry about the Twilight Forest progression today. I spent a bit of time here looking around. We got 2 iron veins, and look at this. Small galena, this is exactly what we're looking for. It should be right below us here. Amazing, and we can get silver here. I think silver is mixed in with this vein, along with cryolite, which we can get aluminium from for tier 2. Also, is it just me, or does cryolite have a different texture? I don't remember it being like this. Alright, so we do have a couple stacks of lead. I found this enderman here, who's unfortunately going to meet his demise. I do really want an ender pearl. Oh, okay, let's head back to base. I don't think we want anything else from here today. I am going to make sure we keep our coke ovens and blast furnaces full. It's something that I keep forgetting about, but it's very, very important that we keep these things running. And I have actually since switched to charcoal instead of coal coke, since we now have the lumber axe, and I'm actually farming spruce wood. It's way easier to now get charcoal at this point in the game. And an extra 38 steel, not too bad. We're now back up to just under 2 stacks. I think we have some in rod and plate form in this chest. And yeah, we got right around 4.5 stacks of lead. The bronze plated bricks have now finished in the assembler, which should be enough to finish off this multi-block. Hold on, it still stays in complete structure. Oh yeah, that would do it. Hole in the side of the machine. Running fine. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so let's come back to the block choice on the base here. So this right here is Mist 11, which I showed earlier in the episode, made with mushroom and Z-tone tiles. This is effectively just stone, and we need to farm mushrooms somehow. I think there is a specific IC2 crop, or so I'm told, so it should be manageable to mass produce this mist block. The floor here I'm not actually sold on. This cyan stained clay I think we're going to get rid of, but these pillars here, this is basalt. These pillars here though I really like. I really like the idea of going for like a blacked out base, so that all the colour that we do add to the base is really going to pop. And I think it'll make ambient lighting a lot more interesting when it's all blacked out. It's a style that I've never really went with before. And again, I'm realizing this is way too small, so we're going to scale this up massively when we expand that way. But just as a little taste, I really like this basalt next to mist. Still not exactly sure what I want for the ceiling though. I was trying out some of this stone slab. I was thinking we somehow incorporate some sort of glass into the ceiling and then maybe some of the blue mist. I do really like that colour. Although maybe not blue, it kind of looks out of place here, right? But it could be the clay putting us off. We're not going to have any of this clay around. Anyways, now that our materials have processed, bronze dust plus lead dust plus tin dust, I think it's 2 lead dust. And actually, is it more efficient in the mixer? It doesn't look like it. I think it's the same recipe. Yeah, the machines are never always more efficient, but they're never less efficient. Yeah, so now we just smelt down into ingots and bend into plates, and there isn't actually an extruder recipe, but I believe this is an MV recipe, yeah. Voltage and amperage we'll talk about at a later stage, because that is a very big topic. And we do have one more loot bag here. Oh nice, 4 circuits. And a solar engine from Steve's Carts, we don't really need this. But the circuits is awesome. That might mean we can get another LV machine in fact. Yeah, and I think I've decided we're gonna go for the chemical reactor. We just need one more LV machine hull, one more tin voter. I really dislike crafting these things, look at this. So unnecessary. Oh yeah, speaking of unnecessary, this thing, if you guys have played GTNH, you know the recipe for this. This basically just allows us to cut blocks into the roof tiles, and we can have like angular blocks like this. It's really useful for making these sort of arches. But yeah, let me take you through the recipe for, look at this thing. Large pulley, 2 iron gears, which is rods and plates, plus the wooden gear, which is also sticks and planks, plus the barricades, which is string, plus the 2 steel screws, plus the weighted pressure plate, which needs more screws, more plates, and a steel spring, which is long steel rods, plus the circular saw blade, which is an iron buzzsaw, which is more plates and more tools. Yeah, that basically just sums up GT right there. Anyways, there is our chemical reactor. And the quest. This is the more efficient way of making rubber, so we don't have to use it in the alloy smelter anymore after we centrifuge. This thing will actually give us straight rubber fluid, and then we can use that inside the assembling machine to coat cable and such. Alright, so as you guys probably know, with most of the fluid pipes, there is multiple different versions. I think we're going to go with a regular potent fluid pipe, and maybe we craft some large for the parts where it splits off. Basically, from the end of the tank here to where it splits here on the intersection, we're going to have the pipe going this way to the grinders. So there's, what, 7 lengths of pipe? And the large pipe here is very expensive. Look at this, 6 potent per pipe, and you only get 1 per craft. And as usual, let's make sure we make use of the shutter system here. I also don't think I've made enough potent pipe to go both ways, so for now the potent will just go to the steam grinders. The bronze pipe should connect to the potent pipe here, it just obviously has less throughput. And I guess we can bring the pipe down in the middle of the grinders. Yeah, so right around here. Oh man, there's something so satisfying about running pipes like this. I love it. And maybe just to save a cable, we can actually put the steam hatch on this corner block. It should be able to accept it there. Up here. Hopefully it still forms the multi-block. Plug in the pipe, give it some steam, and we should be in business here. Let's make sure we get all the rest of the shutters here. And let's give it a test run. So this should run anything that a macerator can run. I think it has the same recipe map. Oh, perhaps we just need a soft mallet. Yes, there we go. 30 seconds. It did consume all 8 though, so yeah, it runs 8 recipes in parallel. Let's also add some chests onto here, so we can have a chest for the input and chest for the output here. We can flip these around so that they all output into this output chest. It should automatically output, I think, although I know it does not automatically pull in from the chest. To fix that though, we can use the conveyor modules. All we have to do is make sure this is set to import. I think we want allow input. And these LV versions can pull 1 stack every 20 seconds. The reason we can't use a hopper is because these things run 8 at a time, so we want to make sure that we have at least 8 for the recipe to run, because if there's only 1, it will happily just consume 1 item, and that's very inefficient because it's still the full length recipe. Or you know, on second thought, maybe it doesn't automatically output. Anyways, I think this is also a good point to wrap up this episode. We are going to have to figure out a solution to obtain basalt, but I think I might have that, and also this mist block. And if you guys have any suggestions about the ceiling, then let me know. But I think some things might change once we start to scale up and we have different size of rooms. There's still quite a bit of development here to go. But yeah, that's going to do us for today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode of GregTech New Horizons.